Mona will require that we serious. The way we work, this book, if maybe you have some classwork or some homework that we need to deal with on the board, apart from that, we deal mostly with question papers so that you understand the standard in which these questions are being asked. That is the second thing. So we will be interchangeably using your textbook and the previous question papers at the same time so that you understand the standard at which these questions are being constructed. So, I think we should go straight into these algebraic expressions and just to try and see whether we will be able to solve that. Or maybe if you have some problems that you've been solving and then you encountered some problems, you can just note those problems so that we can just deal with them on the board, if you do have some. But if you don't have any, I will present mine to you. So let me just check very quickly algebraic expressions. I just want to find the page, algebraic expressions 79. 53, 79. Right. We will try and look at exercise 2. I think it's on page 82. And these are some of the algebraic expressions that you can be provided with. They can say, state the number of terms in each of the following. So they say that you should state the number of terms in each. We'll try to look at first simple problems that everybody can be able to solve. From simple, we will go to moderate ones, and then from there, we will escalate to the most degraded ones. So, for example, they say you are provided with 2x plus 3 times 5x plus 1. And they say that we should state the number of terms in each. Now, remember you can have something like 2x. This is just a single term, even though there's multiplication of 2 being multiplied by x, but we regard this as a single term. It's a single term. And then maybe if you have 2x plus 3, you will have 2 terms. Why? Because you cannot add 3 to 2x. They are not like terms. So these are 2 terms and this is 1 term. But in the problem that we are having there, there's a multiplication. So before you can even state how many terms are there, you should be able to simplify the expression that is provided first. Now, if you look here, we have to apply what we call the Bodmas rule. Because Bodmas gives you a way of saying, okay, whenever you are dealing with a mixture, you must divide before you can multiply, and then you must add before you can subtract. So there's no division line here. We can get rid of this because we don't even have the brackets, but there's multiplication. Now you need to identify, where am I having this multiplication? 3 is being multiplied by 5x. So you need to multiply these ones first. Those are the ones that you must multiply because the 3 is being multiplied by 5x. So you will leave this as 2x. You will still have your addition sign, but you will say 3 times 5. And then you will get 15x. Because remember, this is multiplication. If you have 3 times 5y, you will just say 3 times 5, it's 15, then you write your 1. So you multiply the numbers, you get 15. You multiply that 15 with y, you get 15y. This is very, very important. So we will say 3 times 5, we will get 15, and then you have your x. And then you add y. We are not done here, because these are also like terms. So you can say, because the exponent of x is 1, and the exponent of x is also 1, hence we are saying these are like terms. So you can say 2 plus 15, you'll get 17x. Remember, we are adding there. X plus x will give you 2x, because we have 1 here and 1 there. You just say 1 plus 1 is 2, then you leave your x. But remember, x multiplied by x, you'll say when I multiply numbers of the same basis, you add the exponents. You write one base, which is x, then you say 1 plus 1 is 2. So that is the difference between this one and this one. When you add, you just add the numbers. 1 plus 1 is 2, then you write your x. But when you multiply, you write one alphabet, then you add the exponents. 1 plus 1, then you get 2. Something which is worthy of noting. So 2x plus 15x will give you 17x, and then you have your plus 1. So now, how many terms are here? Just 2. So we have 2 terms. But if you did not apply the Bodmas rule, it would have been very difficult for you to see that you're not having, somebody would say 1, 2, 3. If you don't simplify this, you might say I have 1, I have 2, I have 3 terms. And you get it wrong. Why? Because you did not simplify first, you never grouped the like terms, and then you did not simplify, hence you presumed to have 3 terms, whereas there are only 2 terms. Was this clear, or can we repeat it once again? Is it clear for everyone? My dear, when me say your name, Ria. Ria, is it clear? Alright. Is it clear? Don't worry. Let us try to attempt this one. We have 2x plus 3. 5x plus 1. Can somebody tell me how many terms are there? We need to simplify first. Okay, let me just give you some chance. Try and simplify it. On your own. On your own. Or should we do it as a team? Right. The problem or the trick in this one.
You can't plus the 2, because 3 is smaller than 2 is smaller than 3.
You mean these ones? We cannot plus, the reason being they are not like terms. This one has an x and this one doesn't have an x. So we can never and ever group them as one. Here it is. 2x plus 3 will remain 2x plus 3. Because I cannot add, you don't have x. So there's no way we can add you as 1. So what we need to do here, you have brackets. Bodmas tells you that before you can do anything, you need to remove the brackets. And how do you remove the brackets? By multiplication. So now, this 5x has to multiply everything that is inside of the bracket. This 5x must multiply everything that is inside of the bracket. Or you can say, this bracket has to multiply everything that is inside of that other bracket. So, somebody can rewrite this in the following way. I can take this 5 and bring it here. I can take this, I can swap. Because if you have 2 multiplied by x, I can rewrite this as x multiplied by 2. If you have a multiplied by b, you can write this as b times a. Now, this 5x has to multiply everything that is inside here. So 5 multiplied by 5 is 10. X multiplied by x is x squared. Remember, because when I multiply numbers of the same basis, I add the exponents. This is very, very important. Hence, we record everything that we do so that you have something on YouTube to rely on. Now that I have multiplied here, this 5x also has to multiply this other number. So you will say 5x multiplied by positive 3. You will say, remember this number is positive. So you will say positive multiplied by positive is a positive. Now 5 multiplied by 3, 15. It's 15. Then you leave your x. Remember, because you are multiplying 3 times 5y, 3 times 5 is 15, then you write your y. The same. 5 times 3, it's 15, but you still have x. So it's like 5x multiplied by 3 is 15x. Then you have your plus y. Why? Because this 5 multiplied here, we got this. 5 multiplied there, we got this. And then we just have our plus 1. Because it's outside, so it is not affected by this 5. It's just outside, so it can never be multiplied by 5. Something that is worthy of noting. Now, we cannot add these things. The exponent here is 1. The exponent there is 2. And this one, it's just a y. So how many terms are here?
2.
No. 1, 2, 3 terms. So here we have 3 terms. I don't know whether this is clear. Let's continue. I know that you cannot consume the entire thing in just one day, but let's see something else here. Now here is a problem. They say 2x plus 3, and then they open up a bracket and you have 5x plus y. They want to find out how many terms are here. Because now you have the brackets, you must remove the brackets by multiplication. And you know the number that is closer to the bracket has to multiply everything that is inside of the brackets. That's just one thing. So this 3 has to multiply here and also multiply there. So meaning, because this one is not part of this, it is not affected, you will write that 2x. You'll have your plus, and then you will say 3 times 5, it's 15. Don't forget to write your x. Positive multiplied by a positive will also give you a positive. Then 3 times y, it's a 3y. Can I add these numbers? Why? Can I or can I not add 2x with 15x?
You can.
Why?
They are like terms.
They are like terms. So what is 2 plus 15?
17.
17x plus
3y.
3y. So how many terms are here?
2.
2 terms. I don't know whether this is making sense. I'm not sure. But I think we are getting somewhere. Slowly but surely, you cannot consume this just in one day, but we are working on something. These are not the questions that you will ever find in the exam. You will never find these kinds of problems. These are problems that you need to deal with in your class, but we will deal with exam when we get to the exam. Now let's try and look at something else. We will move from simple 1 to more complicated ones. Here is another one. We are given 8x3 y plus 8 x squared eight xy 3 plus 8. Now, this is the problem that we have. We need to state how many terms are there. Whenever we have the brackets, we have a problem. We need to simplify before we can even attempt to state how many terms are there. So I know that Bodmas tells me that I need to remove the bracket by multiplying everything that is inside here with the number 8. So this one is not affected. I can write it as it is. Now this 8 has to multiply here and multiply there. We call this the distributive law of multiplication. Now what is 8 multiplied by xy3? What is 8 multiplied by xy3?
8 multiplied by
xy3 or xy cube. What is x multiplied by y squared? xy squared, yes, xy squared. What is 3 multiplied by xy squared? 3xy squared. Now, what is 8 multiplied by xy cube?
8 multiplied by x y
cube. Okay? Right. Positive multiplied by a positive is a positive. Then 8 multiplied by 8, 64. Now, are these like terms? Please be very careful. These ones. Are they like terms? No, because x here it's 3, x there it's 1, y here it's 1, y there it's 3. So they are never and ever like terms. So meaning I cannot add these ones. So meaning how many terms do I have here? 3 terms. This is very, very important. Highly and highly important, because when we deal with exam related content, you will find them being displayed like this, but with multiplication and division and many other things. But you will require these basics in order to solve exam related problems. And that's what brings you here. Because you didn't understand the basics, you couldn't solve exam related questions. So with the basics, you will be able to manipulate exam content. Right, let's have another problem. Because I've been very careful with my selection. They say here, state the variables, the coefficients of x and the constant in each of the following. So they want us to state variables, constants, and coefficient of x. In the problems that will be provided, now the first one, it's 9x plus 10. We need to state a variable. Always a variable refers to the alphabet that you are having in your expression. A constant is a number that doesn't have any alphabet. There's no alphabet attached to the number. And then the coefficient of x is a number that is on the front. A number that is on the front of x, we call this number a coefficient of x. We call x a variable, and we call the number 10, which doesn't have an alphabet x, a constant. I don't know whether this is making sense. Right. So, what is the variable in this?
X.
The variable will be x because that's the alphabet we are dealing with. And then, what is a constant? A constant is a number that doesn't have any alphabet in this expression. What number is that?
X ka 48.
10.
A number that doesn't have any alphabet. Mo. Give it. Get 10. Alright. I'll see. What is the coefficient of x?
9.
And the coefficient of x is 9. Always and always a coefficient is a number that is on the left side of the variable that is provided. Or just a number that is attached to the alphabet. We will refer to that as a constant. Now, I want you to identify in this one. I want you to find for me the variable, the constant, and the coefficient. If you are given 2x over 7 plus 5. Please tell me what is a variable, what is a constant, and what is the coefficient of x in this.
The variable.
Alright? Remember, the variable we always refer to the alphabet that is provided in that expression. So that will be x, always and always.
X.
So the variable will be x. What is the constant number? Hot?
5.
5. Also, you must be very, very careful. Ne? What is the coefficient of x? You must be very, very careful. What is the coefficient of x? A number that is attached to the alphabet. Who is Alanga 7? What is the coefficient, Molly? Yeah, x.
2x over 7.
You can't. Coefficient of x cannot be 2x over 7. You are repeating x 2 times. We have already provided x as a variable. So what is the coefficient of x else? Be very careful, Mo.
2 over 7.
2 over 7. 2 over 7. So a coefficient 2 over 7. Okay? This is very, very important that you note that. Right. Let me provide you with this one. Negative x over 4. I want you to tell me what is a variable in that. I want you to tell me the constant number and also a coefficient. A variable. The variable will be x, that is fine. What will be a constant number? A constant number, a constant more. Guys, you got a constant young hot. Hey, I don't know why.
-4.
A constant has to be a number far away from anything that is attached to x. Like the number 10. A constant should never have an alphabet closer to it. Never. Now, you cannot even have a constant more because you can see whatever number you can think of, that number is attached to x. It can never and ever be a constant. So what is a constant number more if it is not given? Because it is not given then. If that is not given more, what will be a constant? Hmm? What will be a constant more? If it is not given, if a constant is not given, come on, someone, you will let the number kibukai. The constant number kibukai. If it is not given, hey guys, hey, how is your kibukai? Do you have Fatima? Guys, you can see if it is not given there, you should always know that the number is 0. Whenever they ask for a constant in expression like this one, where the constant number is not provided, you will always assume that the number is 0. This is very, very important. The constant is 0. Now, the last one, what will be the coefficient of x? You must be very careful more, guys. What is the coefficient of x? Guys, what is the coefficient of x?
That's negative 1 over 4.
Negative 1 over 4, my dear. Negative 1 over 4. I want to tell you, man. Don't matter give banana. The banana was only lima, man, no to lima. Ukalimala usahlukumile usakulimala. Ukalimala. Uyoblela ukuthi amodula phatsi ulophakathisi. Or else banana bana batofa mathatha. Right. How did we get into that? Guys, we can rewrite this as negative 1 over 4x. That's exactly how this number is. This number is negative 1 over 4x. So that the coefficient of x is negative 1 and a quarter. So unfortunately, guys, this was just a warm-up exercise for today. Right. So around this. So what we will do, we will continue with whatever that you are doing. We will look at this from a question paper level, so that how to weigh the expressions, how they appear in the question paper, and how you should be able to deal with such problems. But briefly, you were able for today to know how to manipulate. If they say to you, you should find the number of terms. If there's any multiplication to be dealt with, we have dealt with that type of multiplication. I think we solved 3 or 4 problems on this. And then when they say state the variable, the constant, and the coefficient of x, which they will ask, like it or not, it's always there. And then you know how to maneuver around that. So what I will do for today, I will compress this tutorial, make sure that it is there in our YouTube channel. I will send the link to your parents so that you are easier to access that, and then you can revise on this. Tomorrow we are meeting 3:30. Unfortunately, Luna, guys, there's a subject is 3. Later maths, later natural science, later economics. Those are the 3 subjects. This is very important. So, Kausani, I don't want to 30 minutes of maths. I 30 minutes economics. I regain for natural science. Right, more economics scene. Recording factors or forms of ownership, factors of production, something like that. Forms of ownership. We will deal with that. Just a theory that requires a brief explanation, and then we will deal with that. Explain thoroughly what is happening, more based on the content that you guys need to swallow. And then maybe I think it's something that will take us 3 or 4 days just dealing with that. And then when we are done with that, you will write your first test on whatever that we have dealt with in that 3 days. each and every after 3 days you will write a test on everything that we have dealt with in that 3 days. And then I will shoot go send a script ka group nya batswadi whether o pass it or fail you know mukikena motswadi o molomo o tla o bona ka mo. That's how it works. And then that's that. So please prepare yourselves for Kosani. We will have 30 minutes here maths and then 30 minutes here economics. So unfortunately for today, guys, your class is dismissed. Your time is up. Now I will ensure that you get this on your YouTube channel. I will send you the link so that you can view that. Thanks a lot for your time. Thanks a lot for your time.